Motherhood Uncorked. I'm your host, Cortney, and I'm here this week with the lovely Rachel Gray of Moga Moms, which is a yoga program, I guess.
Totally.
For postnatal and prenatal yoga.
Got it.
All right, so let's have some fun.
Yay! This is a pretty easy sell. Bubbles.
I know, right? Well, motherhood should always be celebrated.
That's all right.
All right. Let's see if this is going to be. Woo! That one came out really easy.
So good. Great. Thank you.
Oh.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
I love this one.
It's so good.
I just use the same one for every
It's so
time.
good.
So you have how many kids?
I have 2 kids.
2?
Yep,
And
2 girls.
They are how old?
So 4 and 2.
4 and 2. Exactly the same as me.
I know. We have a lot in common.
We have 2 boys, 2 girls.
That's it. Yeah.
Weird. So, what are the benefits to doing prenatal yoga?
I mean, I don't know about you, but I found especially with my first daughter, everything was about anticipation. I was anticipating, the first ultrasound, and I was anticipating my baby shower. It was all, and then I stopped anticipating, and then I just wanted my baby out. I just want them to be here. So I think prenatal yoga, beyond just the physical benefits of helping to stretch and elongate and work out the aches and pains, it really gets you off the hamster wheel and allows you to just focus on you. Focus on your breathing. It's amazing the amount of times in teaching Moga prenatal yoga that moms will say, like, breathing, you do it every day, obviously, hopefully, and then
it's good for you.
It's good for you. It's good to breathe. But the amount of times that I'm cueing moms to breathe, and they're like, right, like this is what taking a deep breath actually feels like. So just dealing with the physical for sure, but just allowing them to just, get off the hamster wheel. A lot of moms are still working, and just focus on you.
And connect with your body, because sometimes you get so caught up that you kind of really forget this amazing thing that your body is doing, because you're like, oh, baby shower. What kind of crib do I need?
Right.
What kind of diapering should I do?
Yes.
This, that, the other thing, and then before you know it, it's over, and you're kind of like, but I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I forgot to enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, we're wishing it pieces away so quickly by looking to the next thing that it's just like, let's just slow down and just, focus on you.
Does it also help to prepare your body for the labor process?
Absolutely. The breath work is a huge piece of that. So just learning to breathe, especially during challenging times. I know for me, like labor was is like the most challenging thing I've ever done. So being able to learn to, not hold your breath when you're holding a challenging pose. Obviously, you can imagine the correlation is pretty obvious and so valuable, and just helps in so many ways.
I've heard a rumor, I don't know if it's a rumor, maybe it's true, maybe it's not,
Yeah.
that if you didn't practice yoga before you got pregnant, you cannot start after you're pregnant.
Wow.
Is that true?
No!
Okay.
I'm like, let's dispel this rumor right now. No, honestly, yoga is accessible to all of us. And that's why we're sort of, if you're looking on, Instagram, it can sometimes be intimidating. You're seeing all of these challenging poses and you're thinking, this is yoga. Yoga is for all of us. So no matter, what your mobility level, I get the question a lot. It's like, I'm not flexible at all. Can I still do yoga? It's like, can you, show up to a class with good intentions and positive energy and, breathe and move your body in a way that feels good, then perfect. You are a yogi.
Prenatal yoga isn't like going to be an advanced level of yoga where you have people standing on their heads and doing crazy things like that.
Yeah, totally.
It's very geared towards the changes that your body is going through and helping your body to cope and deal with
So it's all about taking your time, restoration, and just really listening to your body. I know that, as instructors, we say it all the time. But I sometimes say, like, honestly, try to put your blinders on in prenatal and mom and baby yoga as well. I think that's more important than ever. You really just have to listen to what your body is saying. So I might invite you to try something, but at the end of the day, you have to listen to what baby is saying and what your body is saying. And, you're your own instructor. First, I'm just here to help and to lead. Exactly.
You would prefer to see pregnant women in a prenatal yoga class than just a regular old yoga class?
I definitely would, especially when it comes to prenatal, of course. I could definitely say the same for mom and baby as well. You're at a different stage physically. Your body is growing and changing, and you want to make sure that you're seeing someone that is taking those specific needs into consideration in every step of the way. Classes are going to be 100% designed specifically for not only just pregnancy, but the different stages of pregnancy as well. So in my classes, I might have someone that's 13 weeks along, and then there might be someone who's like 37 weeks along. So I have to be able to guide each individual in an overall practice, but be able to offer modifications depending on how far along you are. So for sure, yes, definitely prenatal yoga,
And definitely no hot yoga.
Definitely no.
Huge no-go.
But listen to your bodies first. Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
So then how long after you deliver should you wait to start back into your yoga practice with your health practitioner's permission?
Exactly. So a good guideline just to have in mind is the 6-week check. So for the most part, moms are seeing their OB or midwife at the 6-week check, where they're either given the go-ahead to proceed with a fitness regime or told otherwise. So 6 weeks is usually a really good marker, and then piling that on top of, how are you feeling? Maybe you, feel like you need a little bit more recovery time, or you want to be home longer. There's no rush to get right out there and get right back into like that pressure to, I hear you. Get your body back. It's like, let's just take that and throw it out
First
the
of
window.
all, you never lost your body. Your body's done something insane,
right?
And you can't always. I feel a lot of times it's the social media images now. It's not even the celebrities anymore. It's the social media images, and they're edited, you guys. It's not that difficult to make yourself look better. They're in the exact right angle. They've retouched it a little bit. Take your time and focus on yourself. And again, put your blinders on.
Yes. Yeah, put your blinders on as hard as it can be. But the amount of the other end of the spectrum, so whenever the pendulum swings, it's nice that there's always the other end, and the amount of body positivity, and we're seeing, the unedited versions. It's like when you're posing versus just when we're walking around every day. It's like, yes, thank you
to those people for being real.
Thank you. Yes, totally.
And having the confidence to share.
Every time I see that, it's like, yes.
Virtual high five. Yeah. So the mom and baby yoga, is it specifically geared towards rehabilitating your body after the changes it's gone through in pregnancy?
It's certainly a huge piece. So just like we were talking about earlier with going to a yoga class that's specifically designed for prenatal mamas, I will often, for similar reasons, suggest that, moms are seeking a postnatal yoga program. One, because the same reasons it's been designed specifically for core rehabilitation, pelvic floor rehabilitation. So we work through Moga with some of the best pelvic floor physios, doulas, midwives to help design something that's a super holistic approach to postnatal fitness. So yeah, rehabilitation is a huge piece of the puzzle, and also just having that camaraderie amongst other moms going through the same experience. I remember I'm a fitness professional, and I remember going to a yoga class probably, maybe I was 3 months out, 4 months out after having my first daughter, and I was so intimidating. Even though I knew what I wanted my body to do, I just wasn't there yet. I needed to give myself more time, so it just wasn't right. I didn't feel good and positive after the meeting, so it's like, okay.
You expect your body to have maintained a certain level of fitness, but it hasn't. You've kind of gone backwards a little bit, but now you have the opportunity to move forward and set new goals for yourself as well. After I gave birth to my second son, I was on modified bed rest of the pregnancy, so I was not able to participate in any sort of physical activity program beyond walking and doing just like the stairs a couple times. And I went back to my Pilates class probably about 3 months postpartum, and like I could not do anything. Like it was super embarrassing.
It's demoralizing.
Because I was like, they're like, do an ab curl, and I was like, I literally cannot do an ab curl. Like I cannot. Like my body will not do it.
Yes.
So I guess an environment like postnatal fitness classes would be beneficial in terms of things like that, because everybody else has kind of gone backwards in their own fitness routine and understands that everyone's kind of starting over in a way.
It is. Yeah. It's like a sisterhood. Like we're all on the same common ground, and how good does that feel to be like, okay, like give yourself a break, take a breath. You're experiencing some of the same things as me. It just feels so good. So that's why I wanted to change my journey from working solely in a studio setting doing Pilates. And when I found out about sort of the collaborative yoga and community of Moga, I was like, that's me. Like, that's what I want. How can I have a part of this? Motherhood can be, especially the mat leave, I found quite isolating and lonely sometimes. So we basically created Moga out of necessity because of what we didn't have. So we felt all of these things. It's like, if I could create the motherhood experience that was positive, uplifting, and encouraging, what would it look like? It'd be Moga. During my mat leave, I didn't realize I was doing it till after, but I would basically judge my day based on how many connections I was having with other women. So this was, of course, before Moga, when we decided to, take our own experiences and be like, well, let's not have any mothers feeling this. Like, let's create our own unique experience. So I would go to, libraries or meetups or play groups, and I would judge my day based on these interactions with mothers. It was like, how much did I get to share? Did I learn anything about someone? Did I get to share something with someone? And on days that I did get to, and I sort of came out of my shell and forced myself to talk to people, I'd be like, hi, like I'm Rachel, like I'm a mom. It would be great, and I'd have a really positive day, but I found it really challenging. And I would say that I'm a pretty outgoing person, so if I find it challenging, I can only imagine how someone who has a harder time putting themselves out there might feel. So that was like, okay, this is going to be my job as a Moga instructor, is to make sure that I facilitate for you. You come in, like no pressure, like I'm going to find connections between all of you and introduce in like really natural, organic ways. I will be your connector. So yeah, that was sort of spawned out of my own experience.
Because when you're a kid, making friends is so easy.
Right.
And then you get older, and you still kind of have those friends that you had from either like college or at work and stuff. But if they're not also moms, when it's time for you to go out and like make mom friends, it is hard.
It's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's like, you wish you could be like your kid and just like go out and be like, hey, you wanna play with me at the park? And it's like some random kid that they've never met before, and they're like, they just start up a conversation, and by the end of it, they're like best friends, and they want to do a play date.
Right.
And then you're faced with this other mom, and you're like, I'm so nervous.
I know. So you were asking about my sort of my most rewarding piece, and just sort of tacking onto that as well, is there are groups amongst sort of the Moga moms, and they'll send me pictures. They've gotten together and done like barbecues with their partners. They've gone out for dinner. I've gone out for dinner with them before, and just like they took me out for dinner to say thank you for creating this community. And it's like, so are you taking me out for dinner? Like, are you sure? Like, you've got the right person? It's like, yes. And so you have to kind of just sit back and be like, this is good. Like, we're doing something so positive. If you're creating friendships outside of Moga, like that's the big picture thinking. And And that's why it's like if we created this in these units across Canada, imagine what we could do if we find other like-minded instructors to do the same thing, to be facilitators, to be friend connectors. Imagine the good that we can do.
To make motherhood more of a community.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Period.
Yeah. Totally.
You will not do anything harder than being mom.
Agreed. Hallelujah.
And cheers! Cheers! Celebrate that, because we're all doing it, and we're all kicking ass at it, whether you believe it or not. You're doing a great job.
You got this. Yeah, you got this, Mama. I love it.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
We have.
So, in the description below, you can find links to my social media, Rachel's social media. You will find a link to the Moga Moms website. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe, because I have a new kick-ass mom here next week and week after